you see from him out there in the fifth?
Yeah, I think he has. You're right. He's thrown the ball incredibly well all season long. They were able to get to him on a couple of pitches. Looked like just they were very aggressive on him and able to get some balls into the outfield and really they were just able to get to our bullpen today and it's been such a strength and they've thrown the ball incredibly well all season long and one of the things our guys do the best is they bounce back, and we're going to do that, and no better place to do that than going back home and being able to do that at home and on Friday night will be what we need to do.
Why was that the best pocket for him against Meadows, knowing that Hinch can counter there versus maybe saving him for Carpenter and another later pinch hit?
Yeah, I mean, I think we anticipated that the move that they were going to pinch hit there, but still liked the way Gabe matches up, and he throws the ball so well, and has right-handed, left-hand doesn't matter, and they were able to get to him today.
Dan, you're up early. They come back, score so many right there. Just how challenging is it in a game like this to regain momentum there and try to kind of stem the tide?
Yeah, again, this is postseason is about momentum and getting that momentum, and they were able to kind of turn the table there and get it. We weren't able to get back. Then they were able to score again and kind of spread the lead a little bit. But again, I think it's up to us now to turn the table back and get back home, bounce back, and get in front of the home fans and feel their energy and come out Friday ready to go.
Dan, I mean, you mentioned bouncing back, and this has to be a pretty massive emotional blow considering you're so close to winning this series. But how do you go about bouncing back, and what's your message to those guys to try to further that?
Yeah, I mean, again, everything's in front of us, and these guys have done this all season long. Where they get in tough situations and they know exactly what to do, and they do fight back and they do bounce back, and I'm not worried about that at all, and no better place to do that than at home. So. I think we just continue to do the things we've been doing and just get back on the right track on Friday.
Dan, is there any inherent risk of showing the other team the relievers so often? Bizzardo's been in every game, Spire's been in 3. That they're going to get more familiar as the series goes on.
I mean, these guys have thrown the ball so well, I don't think that's a risk. These guys have done the job and thrown the ball extremely well, and today they just they were able to get to us, and like I said, we bounce back and come back on Friday.
Dan, going back to T-Mobile on Friday, you're probably going to see Skubal. Do you guys have an idea of who you're going to match up with him?
Yeah, we'll announce that coming up, but I think we've been able to get to Skubal throughout, and we have another chance to do that on Friday, and offensively, we've done some really good things in this series, and continue to do some of those things today, so we will certainly be ready on Friday.
Dan, what did you see from Bryce? It looked like he was giving you kind of what you want, and were you seeing something you felt like it was time to go get him at that point?
Yeah, I mean, he was throwing the ball well. I thought, used his fastball extremely well, had good life to it. Thought he threw some good splits. It was a really good pitch for him. Kind of able to neutralize the lefties as he went through that. He was working quickly. Was pretty efficient getting through that lineup there, and they were able to get a couple guys on. Just felt like the right time to go get Gabe and be ready for that that left-handed pocket coming up.
Yeah. How big of a break of a seal moment was that just for him to get that blast?
I mean, first off, he's incredible. And I know, it's been some tough times or some a few games but he never concedes, and he is a tough kid. He's had to endure a lot. I play him every day. He's in the middle of the order. He gets managed against. And he comes up big right when you need it. So that was a big swing, but that was one of many parts of this game and many parts of our roster who contributed to a big win in the biggest win of the year. So proud of our guys because today's game was symbolic of how we roll. You know, it's a lot of different guys doing something positive, multiple guys, you know, getting on base, leadoff batter on base 5 innings in a row, an entire bullpen. Troy Melton on 3 days rest. You know, Will coming in a big game. I mean, I could go on the entire time because of how many guys did something positive.
AJ, back here. Just it was kind of the tale, as you mentioned, of 2 games. When you guys were down 3-0, that crowd was getting a little irate. And for you guys to be able to put the offensive explosion up and kind of win them back, could you kind of just talk about that?
I mean, obviously, this is an emotional game for everybody, fans included. And you know, everybody's kind of living on every pitch. And in the dugout, you try not to ride that emotion just because you know the 27 outs are going to be played regardless. And you got to keep fighting. And it's hard, you know. Like, it's we knew our season was on the line. This is not the first elimination game that we've played this postseason, and our guys stayed loose and stayed in the game and came up with some really big pitches and some big swings, and you need all of it. And you know, obviously, I know how much this matters to our fan base, to our city, to our season. And you know, we're one more win away from bringing baseball back to Comerica again.
Yeah, AJ, before the floodgates opened up, Jahmai Jones with that big pinch hit. Just talk about what he's meant to this team.
Yeah, he's been a big part, and you know, he patiently waits every day for his opportunity, and whether it's you know, it's pushed a little closer to the middle of the game now with the urgency of the playoffs, but generally it's against back-end left-handed relievers in a critical moment of the game, and he knows the strike zone, he knows where the barrel is, he's unafraid. And he's fully prepared. And so as that inning was building, you know, it was a lot. It was Dingler's base hit. It was, you know, we needed to chip away is what it felt like. And Jahmai comes up big with another pinch hit. So it's his role. He's really good at it. There's a reason why we stay consistent with giving him those opportunities is because of his impact. And, you know, obviously was a big part of this win.
AJ, when you took Casey out of the game, what was kind of your message to him? And then at that point, I think you still had 18 outs to go. Did you know that Troy Melton was going to have to take down a bulk of those outs at some point?
For sure. The last part is we knew we were trying to get the ball to Melton, and we didn't know when it was going to be. You know, when I talked to Casey, I took him in the tunnel. Those cameras are a funny thing. They follow me everywhere. And I just wanted to tell him that the best chance for us to not only keep this game close but win this game was to continue to throw different pitchers at them. You know, it's been a successful strategy for us. Casey definitely could have gone out, but when the game dropped us off at Naylor and we have our full allotment in the pen, including Troy, Tyler, I knew Finnegan, you know, Vest was going to throw a career-high pitches if we needed. Like, we were all hands on deck. And so the aggressive move to the pen was to try to give them a lot of different looks. I didn't, you know, Naylor, I watched the first at-bat where it was a lot of pitches. He gets the double. Canzone is another tough hitter. They have him in the 7-hole to connect those two where they can pinch hit. So if I was going to take him out at the Canzone at bat, I wasn't going to send him out there to get in trouble when we had, you know, a couple of matchups that we liked. So it didn't work out to start, but Tel Finnegan came in and saved the day with the double play despite it, you know, contributing to a run.
AJ, your hitters have been saying it's coming. They feel it's coming. They've been close. Did you think this much was coming? And is the whole hitting contagious thing, is that legit now?
You know, I think recent memory can lead you to think that this is how it's been all season, and it hasn't been. Like, we have been a good offensive club for a large majority of the season, but because of how we finished and some of the dry spells in September, and it just tricks you into believing that we're not an offensive club, and we really are. You know, we don't put those numbers up on the board by accident. And so, you need some confidence. You need a nice little boost. You need to connect at bats. We talked about it before the game where you need 1 and 2 and 3 good things to happen in a row, and we did that. And it wasn't just the big swings. I love the big swings. But there's also some singles in there. There was the Dingler at bat where he gets the, you know, we finally get on the scoreboard. It's McKinstry not only moving the runner but hitting the ball to right field after Torque, who'd gotten on base. So there's, you know, when you can, you know, with Wenzel coming off the bench and finally feeling good about end of an at-bat, those things all contribute and they matter. And, you know, I think it shows that there's still a good offensive club in this clubhouse. And, we need another effort like that and results like that come Friday.
Could you comment on Javi's approach and composure?
He did everything perfectly today. I mean, it was amazing. He rises to the moment, you know, and you know, the near miss homer is always that feeling of like what was barely missed. But you know, Javi loves these big games, these big crowds, these opportunities to do something great. And you know, he is a steady force in the middle of our field. You know, every time I go out on the mound to change a pitcher, which seems to be a lot, you know, Javi's always there with some sort of calmness, even more so in the postseason than in the regular season. And I really appreciate that out of him because he's been there, he's done it, it matters a lot to him. And the big swings, whether it's a base hit to right, whether it's the pull side homer, and everything in between is pretty magical to see.
AJ, off that, I mean, you've been through so much with Javi. What's it like for you to see the best version of him kind of reemerge here in the playoffs?
It's very rewarding to watch him play with some joy. You know, I mean, he's had to endure a lot, whether it's the frustration at the beginning of his Tiger tenure to the injury and missing out on what was an incredible season last year, to this year, the ups and downs, the All-Star nod, to scuffling a little bit in the second half, to you know, even out of the lineup or getting pinch hit for, to now being a huge part of the bottom half of our order to roll the lineup forward. So our best team has him, you know, doing some pretty impactful things, and I know the work that goes into it. I know how much it matters, and that makes it even more rewarding.
AJ, were you surprised they went to Spire with Meadows, and it looked like you guys were super aggressive against Spire based on some early swings?
You know, going into the game, you know, we talked about it being an elimination game for us, but we also knew it was going to be a very aggressive game for them. And you know, obviously we had a comfortable lead where they weren't going to get too many more of their back end guys. But no, it didn't surprise us just because, you know, game 5 elimination games are something to avoid when you're on the lead side too when it comes to going into game 4. So we knew that Spire was going to be a part of it. Had it been closer, Brash and Munoz would have been a part of it. You know, there's no secrets when you get this deep in a series. One more. Sure.
AJ, Tarik's about to be in the same spot he was a year ago. Can you speak to what that means for him to get that chance so quickly, and then maybe what he gained from that experience last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, sitting in my chair, one of the easiest things to do and one of the most exciting things to do is hand the ball to the best pitcher in baseball. You know, I mean, this guy should have, you know, more hardware on his mantle, and he's gonna be recognized because of the work that he's done during the season. But he's so prepared for this moment. He obviously is somebody deeply trusted in our clubhouse to bring intensity, to bring high-end pitching and bring results. And we win together, we lose together, but he leads us. You know, and he's a big presence going into Game 5 as we get on this plane to go across the country. We got a lot of optimism, you know, heading that way because of the presence of Tarik Skubal. Yep.
What was it like for you watching that game?
I mean, ups and downs for sure, like anybody watching it. But it was a ton of fun, obviously, to come out on the side that we came out on after being down 3-0. And you almost felt like the season was coming to an end. For our guys to battle back and keep grinding, I think was huge for us.
Tarik, what was it like to see Riley's home run? I mean, obviously he grounded out in the 4th inning, and there was some boos, and then the 6th inning comes around, and there's a ton of cheers. What was it like to see him come through in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the swing, heard it. I thought the ball went to left center, and then I had enough time to figure out where the ball was, and that was way back. So, big swing. I mean, that's the guy he is. At any given point, he can run the ball out of the yard, and he's done that all year long for us.
What do you see when Troy Melton takes the mound? It feels like he's like a sneaky assassin out there that has just risen through the ranks lately.
Yeah, I think. I see what I have the pleasure of going to work with him every single day. So that none of that is surprising to me. It doesn't seem like the moment gets too big for him. He just focuses on what he does, and that's throwing strikes, going right after guys, getting into leverage, doing all the things that pitching is all about. So it's fun to watch, especially he was kind of thrown into the fire, for us in terms of coming up and a couple starts and then thrown right into leverage innings for us, and he's been great through it all. And I think that just speaks to probably his preparation and who he is as a person.
Tarik, Game 5 ALDS, you kind of been there not that long ago.
Yeah.
A lot has happened between then and now. How are you kind of facing this challenge? And whatever happened last year in Game 5, no motivation, just kind of this is a new start for you. Nothing mattered from previous.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you guys create the narrative. I'm going to just do what I do best, and that's play baseball and try to execute pitches. That's when I'm at my best. The game's still the game. But, yeah, I'll let you guys write the stories and do your guys' jobs, but you're not going to get anything from me.
Well, maybe I'll try. But just to follow up to that, have you taken anything out of those winner-take-all games that you think gives you not an edge, but the experience to know even more exactly what to expect?
Yeah, like I've said before, I mean, the experience of playoff baseball, I understand winner go-home games are a little bit different, but, every game means a ton. So it's not like Game 1 or Game 2 or Game 3 are any different than Game 5, in terms of wins and losses. But the game stays the game, and that's kind of what you're going to hear me reiterate is I just need to be focused on, being pitch by pitch and trying to execute the game plan that, that we'll create. So that's all I got for you.
I remember you told us after the game Sunday in Seattle that, once the plane landed back in Detroit, you were going to go to the park and begin your routine for your next start. Even then, did you have this in your mind, even as a strong possibility, just to start preparing for a Game 5?
Yeah, that's where I was at mentally. Obviously, I would have loved to win the last 2 games and be going to celebrating right now and popping bottles, but that's just not in the cards, and that's okay. But yeah, I flew back, got back to work. My routine has stayed the same. Just a little bit long travel day there, but it's all right. We'll be ready to go on Friday.
I know we've talked a lot about this with Cleveland, but now with Seattle facing the same team in the same stadium just a few days afterwards, I imagine there aren't a whole lot of secrets, and the game plans on both sides are going to be well studied, I suppose, over the last week or so.
Yeah, this is what competition's all about. This is why you play the game, for Game 5s. If you even in 7 games, right, you have an opportunity to throw 3. I threw 3 against Cleveland, my last 3 starts of the year, or 2, and then first game of the wild card. But yeah, it's competition, and I think that's going to bring out the best in everyone involved, and that's why this game is so beautiful. We're going to be able to go experience that on Friday. Thank you.
think.
No, they don't like cameras.
Riley, after what you've been through the last couple games, after a couple tough ABs early, what did that swing mean to you? What did it feel like?
It felt good. It was really just trying to get on base, as a leadoff hitter, and just trying to get on base and, get the torque behind me, and, I got a pitch I could handle.
Torque told us yesterday about, trying to get guys on base, make it easier for the guy behind you, not trying to play hero ball. But when you realize how far that ball is going, is there any sense of, personal vindication or gratification there?
No, didn't really care how far the ball went. It was a homer, and, we put another run on the board, so that's all that mattered.
Riley, I know you say you don't care how far the ball goes, but can you describe what it feels like to connect that cleanly on a ball? It was the farthest home run you've hit in this ballpark.
Yeah, it feels great. I haven't hit a ball like that in a while, so it feels pretty good, and I want to do it more often.
For both players, if you can, you guys have been talking about how close you are. You're close, one swing away. Did you know this was coming like this? You couldn't have known for sure, but did you feel like it? And once the floodgates opened, there was no stopping.
Me first?
Either one.
Yeah, I think when everything clicks together, the pitching and the hitting and everything we do as a team, we can be really dangerous, and everybody got pretty good talent here, even our bench. So I think when everything mixes together, we're going to be a really good team.
Javi, AJ talked about it, and we've seen it throughout your career. Moments like this bring out the best version of you. Is it a focus thing? Is it an adrenaline thing? What do you think it is that allows you to rise in these kind of moments?
I think it's a little bit of both, and trying to do anything for the team. A little bit of focus, honestly. I'll focus on my timing and do my homework on the cage, and just trying to do anything to get on base, and I feel good when it's playoff time.
I assume you signed here when you did for moments like this. How does it feel to finally bring one of these moments to fruition?
Feels great, honestly. Wish I was part of it last year when the team took off and I had to get away from my surgery. But there was a whole plan and a whole reason why I came here. I think my agency and my team did a really good homework, and all the prospects together is kind of what we did in 16 when we won. So I think the talent here is huge when we healthy as a team and we play together.
Javi, what's going through your mind? It's fifth inning. You guys are down 3-0. Ding gets the double, Jemai, and then you come up. What's going through your mind at that time?
Oh, just trying to be patient at the play, like I've been doing this series. I got my pitch and I kind of got a little bit too big and went foul. But, I kept my plan to keep it simple and keep our plan and try to see the ball through the sun. And, he challenged me with the fast one, and, I was ready for it.
Javi, when that first ball goes foul, how easy or how hard is it to refocus, stick to your plan when you know how close that is? Is it easy to flush that and kind of get back in focus?
It's not easy, honestly. When you hit a home run foul, there's a 90% you strike out trying to get another homer. But I kept my plan and kind of stayed through the middle, and that's exactly what happened and what I was trying to do.
Javi, you've told us that your family is at the center of a lot of what you do. When you have these big moments and then you get to walk off the field to your kids in the other room, how much does that amplify how special this all is?
Oh, really special. To have my entire family here. I think my mom and my brothers are here. Feels great. I feel a lot of comfort, and I feel great when everything is going good, and when you have that support with your family, when either you do good or bad, you come here to be the same guy, and I think this guy knows that I'm the same guy every day, and everything comes from outside and in the clubhouse to be the same.
Riley, after the fourth inning, you grounded out, and there was some boos from the fans. Did you hear that? What was that like? And I guess kind of what was the general team reaction? You guys hadn't scored yet at that point and on the brink of elimination.
I mean, we really didn't think anything of it. We were focused on ourselves, and we knew we had a lot of baseball left, a lot of innings left to play, and like we all said, we believe, and we're never out of it until that last at is made.
How have you been able to, you individually, right, but then also you guys as a team, been able to stick to that, even the way things have been going? And maybe there's been one too many strikeouts, or not a big hit with runners in scoring position, but you guys seemingly have stayed grounded in that.
I would say, it starts with our team chemistry. It's through the roof, and I feel like it plays a big part in all of our wins. And if we all believe and we're all on the same page, then it's pretty hard to stop us.
Javi, you've been through boos and criticism as much as anyone. What do you think of the way Riley's responded to that and the player he's become?
Great. That's one thing that we've been doing the most this regular season. We've been through ups and downs, and we've been through shitty games, and I told them all the time, when if we lose playing good baseball, we're gonna be all right, and we're gonna get something out of the game. The boos, I don't mind that. I mean, I had boos on my career, so I feel like that's the desire of the fans, see us have success, and you gotta let the fans be fans, I got nothing, man. We win the game. That's what really matters.
For either one of you, just what's it like knowing that you have Tarik Skubal taking the ball for you in Game 5 in a do-or-die game?
I think Tarik's gonna go out there and do his thing. I think he, like I said, he pitched a really good game last time, and we didn't hit, we didn't respond, and I think when we have games like this, it's a little comfortable for him to keep his plan and keep attacking the hitters and give us the victory.
Hola Javi, en español. Juan Jordan para Sport Venezuela. Javier, después de los dos primeros juegos tan cerrados que tuvieron en Seattle, hoy anotaron 9 carreras por primera vez desde la Serie Mundial de 68. ¿Qué vieron de diferente hoy? ¿Qué detectaron a partir del quinto inning en adelante para lograr estas carreras?
No, realmente nos mantenemos con nuestro plan. Obviamente el equipo de Seattle es un equipo durísimo. Tenemos que mantener nuestro plan durante los 27 outs y aquí todo importa. Realmente aquí todo importa durante el juego. So, creo que el plan no funcionó en todo el equipo y en toda la estrategia que usó el manager para volver al juego cuando estábamos abajo 3-0. Y pudimos anotar varias carreras.
Y después de la experiencia que tuviste con Chicago en la Serie Mundial del 16, esa experiencia que te traje para acá, ¿cómo lo vives ahora? ¿Con qué intensidad? ¿Con la misma intensidad o lo ves diferente, con más madurez?
No, realmente es una experiencia diferente. La motivación es la misma. La meta es la misma, querer llegar a la final. Tenemos un grupo muy similar a lo que fue cuando yo gané el 16. So, mucho talento en el clubhouse que tenemos que mezclar juntos y jugar juntos para seguir ganando juegos.
Javi, you said you don't mind the boos too much, but what does it feel like when they're chanting making the Javi